Good morning. You can't see with this black shirt, but my cat has joined us for chapter 15, or the beginning of chapter 15 of the Phantom Tollbooth, This Way to Infinity. Into the cavern rushed 8 of the strongest miners carrying an immense cauldron, which bubbled and sizzled and sent great clouds of savory steam spiraling slowly to the ceiling. A sweet yet pungent aroma hung in the air and drifted easily from one anxious nose to the other, stopping only long enough to make several mouths water and a few stomachs growl. Milo, Talk, and the Humbug watched eagerly as the rest of the workers put down their tools and gathered round the big pot to help themselves. "Perhaps you'd care for something to eat," said the math magician, offering each of them a heaping bowlful. "Yes, sir," said Milo, who was beside himself with hunger. "Thank you," added Talk. The Humbug made no reply, for he was already too busy eating, and in a moment the 3 of them had finished absolutely everything they'd been given. "Please have another portion," said the math magician, filling their bowls once more, and as quickly as they'd finished the first one, the second was emptied too. "Don't stop now," he insisted, serving them again and again and again and again. "How very strange," thought Milo as he finished his 7th helping. "Each one I eat makes me a little hungrier than the one before." "Do have some more," suggested the math magician, and they continued to eat just as he filled the plates. After Milo had eaten 9 portions, Talk 11, and the Humbug, without once stopping to look up, 23, the math magician blew his whistle for a second time, and immediately the pot was removed and the miners returned to work. "Ugh," gasped the Bug, suddenly realizing that he was 23 times hungrier than when he started. "I think I'm starving." "Me too," complained Milo, whose stomach felt as empty as he could ever remember. "And I ate so much." "Yes, wasn't it delicious?" "Yes, it was delicious, wasn't it?" agreed the pleased dodecahedron, wiping the gravy from several of his mouths. "It's the specialty of the kingdom, subtraction stew." "I have more of an appetite than when I began," said Talk, leaning weakly against one of the larger rocks. "Certainly," replied the math magician. "What did you expect? The more you eat, the hungrier you get. Everyone knows that." "They do," said Milo doubtfully. How do you ever get enough?" "Enough?" he said impatiently. "Here in Digitopolis, we have our meals when we're full and eat until we're hungry. That way, when you don't have anything at all, you have more than enough. It's a very economical system. You must have been quite stuffed to have eaten so much." "It's completely logical," explained the dodecahedron. "The more you want, the less you get, and the less you get, the more you have. Simple arithmetic, that's all. Suppose you had something and added something to it. What would that make?" "More," said Milo quickly. "Quite correct," he nodded. "Now suppose you had something and added nothing to it. What would you have?" "The same," he answered again without much conviction. "Splendid," cried the dodecahedron. "And suppose you had something and added less than nothing to it. What would you have then?" "Famine!" roared the anguished Humbug, who suddenly realized that was exactly what he'd eaten 23 bowls of. "It's not as bad as all that," said the dodecahedron from his most sympathetic face. "In a few hours you'll be nice and full again, just in time for dinner." "Oh dear," said Milo sadly and softly. "I only eat when I'm hungry." "What a curious idea," said the math magician, raising his staff over his head and scrubbing the eraser end back and forth several times on the ceiling. "The next thing you'll have us believe is that you only sleep when you're tired." And by the time he'd finished the sentence, the cavern, the miners, and the dodecahedron had vanished, leaving just the 4 of them standing in the math magician's workshop. "I often find," he casually explained to his day's visitors, "that the best way to get from one place to another is to erase everything and begin again. Please make yourself at home." "Do you always travel that way?" asked Milo as he glanced curiously at the strange circular room whose 16 tiny arched windows corresponded exactly to the 16 points of the compass. Around the entire circumference were numbers from 0 to 360, marking the degrees of the circle. And on the floor, walls, tables, chairs, desks, cabinets, and ceiling were labels showing their heights, widths, depths, and distances to and from each other. To one side was a gigantic notepad set on an artist's easel, and from hooks and strings hung a collection of scales, rulers, measures, weights, tapes, and all sorts of other devices for measuring any number of things in every possible way. No, indeed, replied the math magician, and this time he raised the sharpened end of his staff, drew a thin line in the air, and then walked gracefully across it from one side of the room to the other. Most of the time, I take the shortest distance between any 2 points, and of course, when I should be in several places at once, he remarked, writing 7 times 1 equals 7 carefully on the notepad, I simply multiply. Suddenly, there were 7 math magicians standing side by side, and each one looked exactly like the other. How did you do that? Gasped Milo. There's nothing to it, they all said in chorus. If you have a magic staff, then 6 of them canceled themselves out and simply disappeared. All right, we're going to leave it there, and next time we'll get to his more of his math magician math problems. See you then.